Hello everybody and welcome to the League of Europe. We are here today for Division 3 Round 12 at Hungary, and once again, well, I'm back for one, but I am once again joined by Verstappen.
Hello everyone indeed, welcome, and we're here for the third to last round of the championship here in Hungary for Division 3.
Yeah.
And looking forward to it, as we have a potential title deciding race on it for tonight, as KMK is leading the championship by 57 points over MCR, and with another 64 points to pick up in the two races after this, and MCR not being able to overtake KMK on comeback, there is a 7-point advantage KMK needs to get out of this race to win the championship here tonight. So that is the aim for him today. Everyone else is, I believe, out of the championship or close to being out of it.
Yeah, I think, was there one other driver who was still in, or is it just completely done?
I'll run that by and double check that, but I think it can't be much anyway.
Yeah, either way, first drivers now starting to go out on track. Hungary this week. Usually, well, decent track for overtakes. A lot of the overtakes are going to happen into that first corner. Of course, the chaotic race that Ocon happened to win. Hamilton, with his famous only man on the grid to start off that time around, didn't pit off the inters, stayed on the dries. So I stayed on the inters, didn't pit for dries.
Yeah, unfortunately on this game you cannot pit on the formation lap, which will make it quite interesting. But yeah, obviously on this game we'll just have the normal one, and we're seeing a few cars out already. California is here for the first time tonight. He has actually been signed up for the entire season, but this is his first attendance, and as a result he does have a qualifying ban, which, you know, he's gonna serve and just go back to the pits and then retire there. As for anyone else, I don't think there's any qualifying bans to serve as far as I know. So I think Jaff will be the first one to start a lap as he's coming down towards the final corner. 14 turns here. This a somewhat short track here. The Aston Martin opening up the throttle. DRS is open here for the first time. Obviously, most people are just out on the soft tire, which we'll see in qualifying. And a late brake zone down into towards turn 1, third, second gear even. Bit of a slide there, but the second DRS zone following right after. And those are the main overtaking opportunities on this tight and twisty track as he heads into turn 3 and now up the hill, finishing sector 1 here.
Yeah, missing that apex quite a bit there, wasn't he? But of course, first man around, purple first sector for the moment. If you might see a few people go for a cheeky move, especially lap 1 into this chicane, is the curbs really catching them out there, over rotating the car in the right hand. Just a little bit, but a decent lap for him. No, never mind. Crosses the inside line, and that is him invalidating his lap. So going to need to go around again. That lap not going to count.
It's, just in behind the Haas of Swip. Going around the 55.5 isn't the most competitive split time. You'll want to be at least in the 54s usually. But we'll see if anyone else can do that later on. Last couple of turns very slow. Won't really see many overtaking opportunities in here either, especially these bigger cars. But opening up the throttle end towards the line goes to the Haas, and 117.9 is the banker to start it off with. Seeing James Head on inters going around as well.
Yeah,
that's an interesting one. Just in behind Ryan B. He's about a second up on the Swip time so far.
Yeah, here we go. Actually, just behind James Head on the Inter. They go with 16.3 from him, 1.6 second advantage on Swip as Q. 6.5 tenths back on that. Is that? Yeah, that's California serving his quali banners. Sweet Ross straight to the front, 16.0 from the Mercedes man.
Yeah, solid time there for him. I think we'll see some 15s come up a little bit further. See one of the Williams drivers that's possibly just starting a lap. And I think it's T-Ban just in behind that, and he is up on Ryan B's time. I think this might be around the same point as Sway Ross is. hopefully, if he has a good final sector with a big slide there on the exit off the last corner. I was going to say he could maybe get into the 15s, but I think that mistake might have prevented any chance of that happening. He puts himself still in P2 though. Mr. Wouter just in behind in P4 as well.
Yeah, we've got Ibo to the line, a 23 flat from the Alfa Romeo. His teammate actually just set in a purple middle sector ultimate muster. So we'll see what he can do, how he can challenge. Just seems to me, he's fairly far down the order. Ultimate muster, not someone you usually see a massive amount of pace from, so it'd be mighty impressive to see him get to the front. As the car moving well out the way here, but around in the final corner. Where is he going to slot in? It's a 16.9 from the Alfa Romeo driver. Interesting that it was him who got the fastest sector.
Yeah, I don't know how accurate that is, considering he is 9/10 off first place, but still nonetheless a decent time for the Finn there. And he's now P6 due to IRT crack getting himself into P5 with a 16.5. Solid time for the McLaren there. Looking around, Bosnia was on the lap, but he's backed off. He might go again. He might go back into the pits, but he's going to go again. So we'll keep an eye out on him. Energetics is also on the lap. He's just in sector 1 then. 27.5, so that's the first sector there. Says purple, again,
Yeah.
we'll take it with a pinch of salt. But now heading down towards turn 6. This looks like a pretty solidly driven lap. He keeps the lines quite nicely for the chicane there into turn 8, 9, and now all the way through turn 10. This flat out left into 11, hopping over the curb a little bit on the entry, but 54.6 is a good split time. It's around Ryan B's time. If you can hook up the final sector, this could be a solid time for the Ferrari.
Yeah, looking good so far. Just one more corner to not mess up, not to make the same mistake we saw from whichever other car it was. Was it Mr. Wilton before you were on board with?
It was Stephen.
Oh, Stephen. Sorry, yeah, I remember just after I spoke. There we go, 16.553, 200th exactly behind Crack there, and slotting him into P6 for the moment. Actually, speaking of Ferrari, I don't know if you you follow WEC, but Imola this weekend for the endurance racing, and Ferrari have got 1, 2 and 3 in qualifying.
Yeah, I've not been keeping up with WEC too much. Hopefully, I said Bosnia just crossing the line, gets himself into P2. Good time there for the Williams. I've not been keeping up with it too much, but you know, hopefully these guys can replicate what those guys did in real life today. And someone else is still yet to set a time actually. Coming through turn 2 now, we have MCR. He's opened up the throttle, coming into towards turn 3, all flat obviously. And now up the hill, sector 1 split time 27.3 is very good. So IT Crack has left the session, so hope he can get back in soon enough. MCR now down towards the chicane, on path, so it's a little bit more difficult. But you can use the curb on the left to rotate your car in, and he does just that. And come for turn 8 and 9. Looks decent enough. Carry speed through. Let's see how this is going to pan out.
Yeah, looking a strong lap so far, and AlphaTauri ahead. Let's hope that car gets out of the way. Oh my goodness. Stewards might be having a look at that one. I'm going to be honest there. But,
yeah, that was not great, to be honest, from Serial Killer there. Let's hope it hasn't impaired MCR too much in his lap. He still gets himself into P2, but I'd imagine
he would have been up top. Yeah.
Yeah.
As MCR now moving out the way of Serial. And interestingly, Kamke, the man that MCR is fighting for the title. By fighting, I mean MCR doing everything he can to not lose the title here today, because Kamke has just been so dominant throughout the season. Kamke only now leaving the pits. Not really using the first half of qualifying. I don't know if that's confidence or just knowing that he can kind of almost relax a bit and still be guaranteed the Division 3 championship. But of course, it's not over till it's over.
Yeah, I see him do it quite often actually. Doing usually only 2 flying runs in qualifying, and by that saving another set of softs or mediums or whatever the tire allocation he has picked. So that might be a reason why he does it. Just puts it all towards the race and hopes it comes together there. And you know, so far it's been working, so I can't complain too much. I'm looking at Steban here as he comes through the sector 2 split and is 3/10 up in his time. And with that mistake he made on his last lap in the final sector, you'd imagine this could be a provisional pole position time for the Alpine. So he's coming for turn 13 and then towards the final corner.
So here we go, needs a 10.5. He had 3/10 plus a mistake to improve on, and there we go, 4/10 straight to the front. First 15, and it's a 1:15.7 as well, just to add to it.
Yeah, good time there. So James crossed the line, set his first soft lap. See the time on Hints before, put himself into P6, so solid there. Leads the track not too long, so the times will relatively be close together, and we can see that throughout the top half of the grid at least. So Jav is retired, I think, in the pits, so he'll be starting at the back. I've also not seen Flip out on track just yet, as he hasn't been for ages in qualifying, I don't think. So let's see if that strategy is going to pay out for him again.
As Ultimate Muster here invalidating his lap, so he's going to be presumably pulling back into the pits and waiting for one final rush now. So is anyone on a lap currently? Serial being on an in lap. Actually.
Yeah, he was on the 27.3 first sector, again very solid. The American carrying speed here for the twisty sector 2. You just need to be so precise. If you mess up one corner, you can mess up the next 3 as well. So you gotta make sure you're in the right rhythm. But that seems to be the case for Cam K. 54.2. It's a little bit off Steven's time, but this could be up there nonetheless.
Yeah, a couple more hairpins, but of course we know that MCR has more time as well, so these two going to be fighting at the front. How well can Cam K distance the rest of the field? Can he beat Steven? Is he in the top 3? Where does he end up? It is a 16.1, he's behind MCR, P4 for the moment. Of course, still plenty more time to try and improve, as up into P2 goes Crack. Two McLarens looking strong this weekend at Hungary.
Yeah, they normally do look quite strong, so it's just adding to it once again. Obviously, not the constructors' leaders, that's still Red Bull. And I think they're either close or are about to clinch the title as well, so them two obviously being very consistent. I think first and third still in the championship, as far as I know. So yeah, good show from them. Looking at Swip, he is on an outlap, I think. Or at least on a second slow lap at this point in time. So just have to look a little bit further and maybe... Actually, I found someone who's on a good first sector here. Energetics, 2/10 up and already on a 16.5. If you can find more time in sector 2 and 3, I think especially in 3 there's some time for him. We'll have to see if he can improve and get himself up the timesheets.
Yeah, just 5 minutes left of the session now. Here we go, sector splits of 54.6. He's lost a bit of time, not even green at this point. Of course, has time to finish this and come back in for one last run of the session. But no, he's straight into the pits, doesn't want to risk it. Oh, hello, trying and avoid into the pit wall. That's not one you want to do, especially when you get caught on stream. Q seems to have made a mistake somewhere.
Yeah, I think he made a mistake at the final corner there. The Aston Martin currently in P13. Doesn't seem like he's doing the best of his times. And, having missed quite a couple races recently. Just not the greatest run for him. The only one currently on a lap, apart from Bosnia who just started one, is Swip. So he's now coming through turn 13. A long wait. Let's see if he can get himself off that 15th place. Maybe a little bit higher up. As he accelerates out of the final corner and across the line is 17.5. Is not going to bring him any more spots on the grid, but a decent time improvement nonetheless. So I think we switch over to Bosnia, see how he's doing.
Yeah, 10.5 in the first sector alone. Well, that's got him projected into the 115s. There's still 2 more sectors worth to improve. This might very well be his last attempt at a lap. I'm not sure he'd have time to come in, get another run ready. So this could be our first driver to finish their final lap, essentially.
Oh,
but there we go.
Good split time.
He is
4:10s.
Yeah. Well, definitely solidifying that 1:15 if he can avoid a mistake in these last couple of hairpins. Sure, we'll see a few cheeky dive bombs there in the race, but here we go. Where's it going to be? Is it provisional pole? It is. It's
yes.
a 15.6. And Stephen is dethroned for the moment. Of course, still has time to defend as Bosnia getting comfy with the Mercedes, leaving the pit box there. So Ibo next man. Is he going to improve? I'm not sure he is. No, nearly half second down on his previous fastest. So Serial Killer, can he improve? No, again he can't.
Yep.
I guess slow lap is now going to push. Must have been a mistake somewhere on that one. Decided to back off near the end, but didn't a full ERS. That is going to cost attempt on this lap around. Is there anyone currently on a pusher? Stephen.
What is that? That's in the pits. He probably thinks that's just enough at that point and maybe wants to save some tyres. And is just happy with the lap. Maybe thinks he can't improve that much more on it. In which case it makes sense to just call it a day at that point. You just saw in Bosnia's laps how much he was just using every bit of the track, and it's no surprise that he's got himself up into pole position. More drivers here and there retiring and calling it a day, but just looking around, who is on a lap? There's a few drivers that have just started. I know Mr. Wouter has, as he comes up to just be under a 10th up in sector 1. Looking around if anyone else is a little bit further along that we don't miss out on.
I do not believe. I think Ibo was on a lap, but he seems to have done something coming out the final corner, as was Serial.
Yeah, I think for now we have to look at Mr. Wouter. James had in behind as well. So Mr. Wouter just coming for the sector 2, so it's 5/10s up. This is a good lap for the AlphaTauri. 54.1. Could get himself maybe towards provisional pole, but this final sector has to really be very good. We're gonna have to see. Does look very tidy there.
Yeah, nice and early on the power. I'm not sure it's enough for pole. It might be enough to knock off Stephen though. Let's see. Yeah, P2. Oh, 4,000ths ahead of Stephen as well. So close as James' head has crashed in the final corner. Tyre gone. Hopped on board just in time to see. And actually he's lost both his front tyres there.
Yeah, I think he crashed in the pits. I've just called Sway Rolls just intentionally crashing out, coming through turn 10. So that's not what we want to see, and he can probably expect something from the stewards for the next race then. Looking around,
who's the next one?
The Red Bulls and the McLarens still starting their laps. But beyond that, everyone else, yeah, just about starting or just on their laps right now. The flag is out in just about 10 seconds.
I think Ryan B will be our next man to the line. I don't think he'll be fast enough to catch the flag, but I don't think he wants to be. I think this is his last and final attempt. Didn't see his sector split, but he's currently about 7/10ths off of the pole time. What can he do? It is enough for P4. He is into the 1:15s. It's not enough for the front row.
Yeah, it's a solid time, but probably would have won that more. Mr. Perro coming through the final corner. Improvement into P9 there for the Finn. Good time. Crack into P4 takes that away from Ryan B. So he's got himself a little bit higher up. Then we have to look at Cam K and MCR. I think both are slightly up in the time. Can they find more in sector 3? Bit of a wobble for Cam K on the exit of turn 12. 90-degree right-hander. So he heads now in towards another right-hander. The final corner there for the American. Can he get himself maybe ahead of his teammate? Maybe a bit further. Let's see. P6 just behind his teammate. MCR though goes towards pole position.
Well, that is the result he was looking for. Harry Noir P11 for the moment. We've got Swip, we've got Energetics. Swip nearly clipping the inside wall there, so close to it. Do we see any improvement? I think we do. It's 6/10. It is P13. That is a couple places gained. Energetics is on a slow lap, and I think that concludes the session. So it's an MCR pole position.
Yeah, MCR just at the depth of the session, just about nipping Bosnia's pole position away by about half a tenth. And yeah, I think especially his final sector was very good there for the McLaren, and that's what's got him in that position. But yeah, that's going to translate into the race.
So yeah, we've been slightly ignoring the chat, but funny things have been going on. James getting shouted out, well, Ren shouting out James and Harry Noir. James mentioned it was him, then saying he reckons he's got a good few tenths on the next lap. Well, said next lap was the lap where he lost a couple of front tyres. So I guess not finding those few tenths in the end. But here we go. Here is our standings for the qualifying here at round 12. MCR on the pole position. The man doing all he can to hold on to his championship hopes. But, well, one mistake and they will fade immediately. Bosnia alongside him on the front row. Then a Dutch second row lockout, Mr. Walter and Steven there. Crack P5, Ryan B P6, Cam K our championship leader P7 there. Decent result. I mean, gets a strong result, 7 points ahead of MCR, and he wins the title here today. Sweet Ross P8, Muster P9, James Head P10 despite his mistake, Harry Noir 11, Energetics 12th, then Swip, Q, Serial Killer, Ibo, California, Jav and Flip to finish out the order. As James saying, all dry in the race, 3% chance of rain. So unless we're feeling really unlucky, it is going to be a dry race here today.
Yeah, quite sunny looking at the screen as well. As for the tyre choices, they are going to be very interesting. Obviously, a safety car can happen here. The walls aren't that far away from the track. And in turns like turn 4, going up the hill left, that is definitely one that catches people out every now and then. And there's some difficult traction zones here and there as well. So probably would expect 1 or 2 safety cars.
Yeah. I think I can agree with that.
Other than that, the softs usually aren't a great race tyre. However, you could kind of burn through them a little bit if you're doing a 2-stop, which obviously is mandatory. So I'm interested to see what the driver's going to pick. I expect a few hards here and there as well, as they're just easier to drive and keep in the right temperature window as well, on this track at least.
Yeah, no, always look forward to a Hungary race. I always really enjoy commentating Hungary because it seems to give you a little bit of everything. There's still overtaking opportunities. There's always some good battles going on. And if anyone was watching the Division 1 stream, you would have seen Indigo commentating. Well, this was the first track that me and him commentated together way back in, I think, 2020. So, special track in that regard for me. But there we go, there's that one hard you mentioned on Swip. Apart from that, pretty 50-50 between the soft and the mediums.
Yeah, I think a lot of drivers just want to get the softs out of the way, get a good start in, potentially capitalize on an early safety car.
12 on the soft, 7 on the mediums, 1 on the hard if I can count, which I'm a maths student, so hopefully. But
yeah, it's I think it's let's see, yeah, it's 11-7-1.
Nice.
I'm pretty sure. So that's
oh
perfect.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't realise that there were only 19
There's
drivers.
only 19. Yeah, so it's the right math. Just
I can add. I can't
forgot.
count. Yeah.
Yeah. That's all good though. As Mr. Brewer and James wouldn't be having the best off tyres, I think, going into it, as they've been disqualified there. I think we could see a lot of tyre difference as well per lap. If you have a 1 lap undercut, you could probably gain a couple seconds. However, the one who has the overcut is then gonna gain because they're just gonna have the fresh tyres once again. So in that regard, especially because it's a track that's difficult to overtake at, and in general there's only 1-2 real overtaking opportunities, it's going to be interesting to see how this driver navigate those circumstances and make sure they get the best out of their strategy.
Yeah, as actually looking in the chat, James Head apologising to Ultimate Muster. I think he just went into the back of him, didn't have time to react to Ultimate Muster avoiding another car. So it was definitely a collision between those two. Shame for them, but honestly, cold tyres, they're not going to they're not going to completely kill your chances, especially with Ultimate Muster on the softs. It's James. Oh, hello, that's an Aston Martin sideways. It's going to be James who's suffering a little bit more on those colder tyres. There's Jav. Had a little look at the wall. Some nice hot tyres underneath his carpet. He'll be slotting into the 18th slot on the grid, so we can start racing here at Hungary. Oh, never mind, he won't be slotting into a slot on the grid for 18th. But here we go, all lined up. And Williams somehow still within his grid box. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights are up. And away we go here at Hungary. I cannot see the front of the grid. Here we go now. Bosnia is alongside. No, he's behind already. MCR, wonderful start from him on that soft compound. You got Mr. Walter having a little look. The front two. Ooh, are they holding on? Bosnia having a look up the inside, but losing traction. And in the end, it is as they were at the top, though. Crack, he's already looking for moves. He's up 2 moves already. A wonderful start by the McLaren. Immediately gaining 2, and straight on the back of Bosnia as well. He's a man on a mission. What tyres is he on? He is on the softs. Okay, that makes slightly more sense, but even still, making the absolute most of those fresh soft tyres straight up from P5 to P3 for the end of the first sector there.
Yeah, making it work for the time being. Making it work as well is MCR, who's already got an 8/10 gap to Bosnia, and is seemingly quite quick here in his opening stint, or at least on the opening lap. Looking just a little bit further down, James has lost 5 positions off the start, so he's definitely lost out, maybe due to his cold tires, we'll have to see. So Red Bull swap positions, and Rainbow just seemingly letting Camco through, and obviously as teammates that is completely fine.
Yeah.
James is now trying to make up for his worst start, trying to get past Serial Killer and seemingly into the final corner. I think he's done that.
They're getting involved now. We've got Serial and California side by side, or have we? Know they have settled down, but look at this, a move into turn 1 into Serial back past James. Is James under threat as well from the Haas car? Side by side, those softs going to have the advantage here. Have they won the traction race? No, they have not. That outside line giving them more traction. Flip trying to get involved in here as well. We've got 3 cars all trying to fight. It's all nearly into the back there goes the Williams. The Aston Martin and Jav getting involved now. This battle is constantly changing which cars involved. Jav with a small little slide, but in the end they have all settled down. All cars, no damage I've spotted. Oh, certainly a few raised heartbeats if it is anything to go by.
Very impressive to keep it all clean for the Audi at least so far. In the meantime, all clean, definitely MCR. Bosnia as well, getting a gap now towards Crack and Mr. Router. Everyone trying to make the use of their tires as efficiently as they can and just get people out of the areas, and it don't even seem to be burning up much. In the meantime, I see Crack in P3, while struggling, is already down to 45%. He did say in the chat that he had some issues with his shifting, so not quite sure if that's maybe related to it, but at this point, Mr. Wouter getting alongside and wanting to take that position. It looks like he is going to be able to do that, so the DRS will be enabled on the next lap, as this lap the detection point has not been on there yet. But Mr. Wouter gets that move done quite simply, and he's now into P3.
There's RQ, very nice overtake there, just caught the tail end of it on Energetics. It looked like it might be a switchback with the Aston Martin just perfectly placed, both drivers on soft tyres. It was just a case of a better line though. Energetics, has he got some front wing damage? Because he's either got very low wings or a minor bit of damage. I cannot see anything. But I don't know, Q just seems to have so much more grip through the corners despite the same compound, and is now starting to gradually pull a little bit of a gap. And Hungary having just one DRS zone, of course, means it's slightly harder to stay in behind, because once you get dropped, well, it's harder to keep up because of that just one DRS zone, but once you get dropped, you've got to be good at that one bit of the track.
There are 2 DRS zones, but they are basically just right off
you're
each
right.
other.
Okay.
Coming out of turn 1. It's a bit of a... Yeah, it's not one you use that often, but you know, it's still there. It can help you keep up a little bit easier. Keeping up is not doing IRT Crack, and Steven right in the back on the mediums as well. At this point already those mediums are gonna be equal, if not better than the softs. The softs just aren't the best race tire. The moment you use the fronts, you're just gonna understeer like crazy. But Steven not quite able to make it work just yet. Obviously, Crack still has some DRS to defend with, and some ERS seemingly as well. So for the time being, he's remaining in P4, but for how long, we'll have to see.
Yeah, it's a battle further down here for P13. Swip under threat from Serial. Oh, Serial himself actually under threat from James. He's going the long way around, and my goodness, he's replicating what Alonso did all those years ago. Has he got it complete? No, he has not. Serial going deep into the chicane, but managing to place his car exactly where he needed to be to block off that Mercedes. James unable to get through, but does seem to have more pace here, and he is being held up. Had a bad start to the race, as you mentioned, lost 5 places on lap 1, still trying to make up for that. It does mean he knows he's the pace advantage, also means he's going to be a little bit frustrated here, might not necessarily be making the smartest possible decisions. Of course, different drivers going to react in different ways, but you can see he's right on the back, stuck to the back of that car. Is it enough pace to get through? And oh my, look at this, barely left the corner and already nearly going for it. He's not sure if he wants slipstream tucking in behind or not. He's going to the outside. Can he make it work?
I think he can. And he has the ERS advantage as well. Both Serial Killer and Swipe ahead as well, D rating, so this should... You'd say it gets James at the head, but just about
he's got him.
Turn 2, he did get him. Just struggling with straight line speed compared to these two, I think. But obviously that's going to help in turn 2, long corner, need a little downforce for it. And that seemingly has worked, and now it's up to Flip to try and get through. And for James to try and get through on Swip up ahead as well. Obviously on the hardest tire, not the quickest driver either, so at some point I reckon James will get through, and then he has quite a bit of a gap to already catch up. Meanwhile, Crack is really forming a train here for P4. Stiban, Swayros, Kamke, Ryan B all over the back of him so far, and I think down towards...
He's in, Crack into the pitch.
Yeah, decided he had enough. Let's see if he's going to continue. Obviously did mention the shifting issue, so I just hope for him that he can continue for the time being. I think he's just going to go to a different tire. Meantime, Swayros going for a move on Stiban in towards turn 1. Now using a DRS to get back. Stiban, can he? No, he's going to wait him behind. So Swayros getting 2 positions there with Crack pitting. He's onto a hard set of compound tires.
Yeah, of course, playing the long game. And actually, with the race seeming to settle down, no big incidents.
Ooh.
Doesn't seem to be a massive risk of safety car. Bosnia picking up 3 seconds of time penalties. That is quite early on.
That's very early on. We're only in lap 6. It means he's gone off track at least 3 times already. And he is also kind of struggling with the tires potentially, given that Mr. Wouter is right all over him, and he has in the meantime dropped 2.5 seconds to MCR, who just seems to be in control here today. A lot of pace from the McLaren here, as we are usually used to, but this is a bit much, as Mr. Wouter has gone deep.
Whoa.
I think. Might have made a mistake there.
Yeah, that was a weird one. Went so deep into the corner, actually falling out of the DRS range, so won't have it this time around. However, Sweet Ross behind, oh no, also didn't quite pick it up. Strange mistake though, isn't it?
I imagine he might have touched the outside curb on the entry of the corner. That could send you kind of unsettling the cars. Kamke and Stiban. I think Kamke just hit the back of Stiban there, brake too late. He is waiting up for him, which is, to be honest, a very good sportsmanship from the American. But yeah, then towards turn 1, it looks like Kamke is just misjudged his braking point potentially.
And Steven now immediately wanting to fight again, this time with Q. The Aston Martin has all got another yellow flag. That is Swip. He's had a spin further back in that second hairpin of Sector 1. Will stay on board with this battle here. Steven, he's on the medium tyres, so you'd expect him to be faster than Q at this stage of the race. Of course, did just get involved in that incident. I think his entire front wing intact. I didn't see any of it missing. Yeah, is all intact, so if there's any damage, it is minor.
It looked like he got hit on the rear end, so I don't think his front wing will be suffering. What might be suffering are his tires, just from spinning around. It could be that they're overheating a little bit. So yeah, Steven just suffering a love runner accident, and Kamke was waiting up. I think there's a decent chance there still will be some sort of penalty from the stewards at some point. If we're looking at the fight for P2, Mr. Wouter has now caught and overtaken NSX Bosnia, which just signifies how much the Williams is struggling.
Over just yet. The Williams trying to hold it around the outside, get the switchback. There's no way he can hold it the long way around here. Mr. Wouter just seems to have better tyres at this stage of the race, and yet does hold on to that P2. Now actually Bosnia going to be under threat from Sui Ross shortly. I do wonder if he's going to pit this lap, or if he's going to hold on a few more. You'll have more insight than me in terms of the strategy. So,
yeah, I'd imagine most soft runners are going to be in the next 2 to 3 laps. If you go more than 10 laps on these tires, you do something very good or very wrong. So, yeah, I'd imagine a lot will be going in this lap already. MCR currently out in front, 3 seconds ahead of Mr. Wouter. Let's see if Mr. Wouter is able to maintain the pace in the McLaren a little bit easier. Seems to be quicker than Bosnia at the very least. But yeah, the advantage will be going towards Sveiros recently and definitely now, compared to all these soft runners.
Staying out on track as is Bosnia, so they're going a few more it seems.
Yeah, it's surprising to me. Mospura has decided to go in.
Kamke coming in, Ultimate Muster coming in.
Yep, and probably going
to... Oh my goodness, Crack, sorry to interrupt, Crack around the outside of California in the last corner. Has he made it work? Yes, he has. Although still battling down towards the first corner here. California slightly blocked off. But in the end, Crack holding on to that P13 with a wonderful overtake the long way around. What is that? That is Ibo making a mistake out. Final hairpin.
Yeah, and just want to highlight, actually, Crack is trying to fight Serial Killer here. I was gonna say something about him, but side by side still they go. And now a little bit forceful here and there for both drivers, I think, but Crack is now through and into P12, and that's what I was gonna have a look at, because remember he pitted with not the best pace about 3 laps ago. He was, say, a good 4 seconds ahead of Mr. Puro. He is now a good 11 seconds ahead on the hardest compound. So I reckon Crack has absolutely just undercut everyone. Issue is, he's going to be on the slower tire now, with also not being the freshest tires once all these soft runners pit. And Bosnia and Energetics are the next two that are opting to go into the pits and potentially for the mediums, I think. Bosnia is, and Energetics is as well, so let's see where they're going to come out.
Yeah, Crack does maintain the lead of those who have come into the pits already. When I had a look, he was 19 seconds behind the leader. That's gradually coming down, still pretty gradual, as MCR seems to have such good pace.
Yeah, Crack is 5 seconds ahead of Bosnia, but when he pitted he was like a good 3 seconds behind, so he's definitely undercut by quite a lot. But now Bosnia on fresh mediums versus Crack on, well, still somewhat fresh hards. I think Bosnia is going to gain a few seconds per lap at this rate.
Yeah, we will see. His first obstacle is going to be California. But California on the old soft tyres and involved in a battle actually with Serial Killer just ahead. We'll see how he navigates through them. But yeah, look at how much speed he's got through these corners. Losing quite a lot of time actually here that he could potentially be gaining. MCR importantly is into the pits. Mr. Wouter I don't think is pitting. Bosnia getting the first, these two white cars nearly into the back of Serial Killer. Such is the difference in grip. Is he going to go for a send? Chooses not to. Serial Killer almost expects it and moves out of the way. I think just accepts there is nothing he can do as California behind does expectedly pull into the pits. Mr. Wouter, I believe the only man who's taken his soft tyres 11 laps. Never mind, Jav has proven me wrong there. Ooh! How has his car not lost a tyre? His front wing's gone.
Oh dear.
Jav with an interesting instant there, getting on the power too early out the corner. His tyres are very, very worn. He will need to pit next lap, whether or not he wants new tyres, because his car certainly requires new front wing.
I'm not quite sure if that
Oh, you're right.
If he,
There's two cars in a row with no front wing. And I can tell you now,
so
they weren't involved in the same incident because I was on board with Jav and he just put himself in the wall. So an interesting one there.
meantime, MCR has pitted, and he is 2.5 seconds behind his teammate currently, who is now caught up in some traffic himself. With Flip just coming up ahead on 10 lap old mediums, and just almost pushing him for the corners here. Now down towards turn 12. Is the move going to be on for the McLaren? Later on the brakes. Little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact there. Still side by side on the exit now, coming through turn 13. On the Haas, he doesn't seem to have quite the pace. His Flip is giving him minimal room, but just enough. Who's going to get the DRS? I think it's Crack. Just got the DRS there, so that's going to help him. But coming for the final corner, still side by side. And look, it's on the back now. 2.5 seconds is 0.3. MCR is going to make the free wide down towards turn 1. Down the inside he goes. A free wide it is. MCR late on the brakes. And I think that he's got that one completed. Crack still trying to fight that. But I think MCR's got it complete on the inside line, on the better tires. And yeah, there he goes. Into P6 on track, into net lead.
Beautifully done by MCR. Weirdly, he's ghosted for me. I don't know if he is for the other drivers because he's certainly not paused with driving like that. But already moving up towards James Head. Man, currently sitting in P5.
Not for me, so that's all good. So James doesn't even bother to fight that. Just kind of blend through.
Yeah. Ooh,
I think he hops over the curves there, and that's going to allow more drivers through. I think he rejoins in 8th position now, just ahead of Bosnia. Yeah, interesting, peculiar choice there.
Yeah, and because, well, of course it was choosing to let them through is a choice. Doesn't want to cause any issue. As James letting through Bosnia as well. I guess the cars who've already pitted letting them through. Flip was the weird one, but I think that was caused more by a mistake. As Ren's in the chat seeming to be James' biggest supporter, saying wouldn't count out Mr. Head for a top 5 finish, and then I guess saving us from doing commentator's curse and commenter's curse, we call it. Well, that happened. Harry Noir in for the soft compound. What about Flip and James? Flip for another set of mediums. James is also going on for another set of mediums.
Yeah, so what I think Harry's doing is flipping the softs and the mediums here. I think Flip and James are probably going to try and wait out and go for softs at the end of the race. But Harry Noir choosing to go for it on the middle stint at least. So we'll see how that pans out. He is trying a decent race. Both Ferraris are actually on a pretty decent path here. And then living with 12, a few cars still to pit. Given Serial Killer. So just in the midfield currently is MCR and Steban are fighting here. MCR did already a pit stop ahead of Steban. But he's not quite able to get through here. He's going to have to wait that one out. But with the tire grip advantage, it's not going to take long, I think, for MCR to go past. As our leader in the race, Swayros, has now pitted, as well as Ryan B. And Steban is deciding to go in as well.
So MCR taking the lead, right. He's still ghosted for me. I don't know why.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. That must be another Codemasters glitch. We don't have enough of them just yet. But yeah, that's going to promote the McLaren's into a 1-2 position. But for how long is the question? Because Bosnia is having in the back of Crack on fresher tires. Big mistake though, the exit. So he's not quite going to make that one stick. Everyone that just pitted onto a set of mediums as well. Serial Killer, the only one having yet to make a stop here in P8 currently. Just getting overtaken by Ryan B out of the pits.
Yeah, and gonna have Q right behind him, and the two Ferraris as well, who have now swapped positions. How you are on the soft, while the faster, of course, getting past his teammate. Right, is Q gonna go for the move here? Because he's gonna be so much faster. Decides against it. You can see the grip difference. 13 laps versus 3, and look at that. Gonna
here
send
he comes.
Yep.
Here he comes. Sectario can't keep his car under control whatsoever. But there goes Q through. Harry Noir and Energetics are now fully trying to go through as well, but it looks like Sarah's lagging a little bit as well. This is just very frustrating, I'd imagine, for both the Ferraris. We're down towards turn 12. We can see an overtake coming for Harry Noir, I think. Later on the brakes, and you get it on those fresh softs. Yeah, he does. And Energetics is next up to try and get through, as he's in a few gears too high there, coming through turn 12. Some 5th gear. It's usually
Hop on
third gear.
board as Bosnia around the outside of turn 1. Can he get crack? Yes, he can. Holds it the long way around. Is it a complete overtake? Yes, it is.
Yes. Good move there. So the second Ferrari now getting past Serial Killer, and Steban closing up as well. So Jav picking up a couple penalties there. Now 6 seconds. As he is off now. Coming through turn 9 and 10. Again from Wingon.
Ooh. Serial Killer having a brief excursion in the grass. Only very brief though, just saw a bit of long grass, decided he'd help out the track gardeners. Of course, on those old mediums, he is going to be really, really struggling. I wonder, is the one stop at all? Oh no, of course the one stop's not viable, it's not allowed.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's off the cards for the drivers here today. I think even in a normal race, the one stop isn't even. It's possible. It's just not the one you want to be doing, I think. So we're seeing MCR now lapping Ibo and Jav, as Jav is in the pits for another wing change. Looking around, Mr. Wouter is now called up to the back of IoT Crack, as Steven has managed to get past Energetics. Here comes the AlphaTauri though, for P3. Late on the brakes, hugging the curb a little bit much there, the Dutchman. As he has a big snap there, a little bit of side contact there. Let's see, he comes out the head coming for turn 2. I think Mr. Wouter just has the superior grip there, and easily gets into P3.
Yeah, it's the two Red Bulls fighting. Ryan B the long way around of Kamke, and he does get past his teammate. Teammate not making it easy for him. But of course, Kamke's got a title to win here.
Yeah, but as of right now, today it's not looking like his day so far. We've said that before, and then all of a sudden he ends up being at the front again. But considering how well MCR is driving, a 7-point advantage over him is going to be very difficult to do. Meanwhile, Harry Works got up into P8 in the softs, and Q losing another position because Steban has got through into turn 8. So
didn't fully catch that.
Yeah,
very nice overtake by
there.
Steban.
He's lost, and now he's got Energetics behind him as well, so this could be 3 positions in a very short amount of time. Energetics waiting it out for the time being though. So let's see if he can maybe do it on the straight or a little bit later, we'll have to see.
Yeah, the two of them on both similar, well, same compound, similar age, tyres, so not going to be much difference in grip. It is all going to come down to that racecraft. Steven having a little look at the back of Harry Noir. The softs going to be past their prime, which gives the mediums the advantage. Getting it through, parking the car exactly where it needs to be. The cutback not an option, and Steven through up into P8.
Yeah, good stuff there from the Alpine on a bit of a recovery drive. He's now got Kamke to catch. And let's hope that doesn't end in tears like the last time. But he's on 5 lap newer mediums here. So he should be catching pretty quickly, I'd imagine. We saw last lap that the Ripple swap positions. Look how quickly that's already gone up the gap. Nearly 3 seconds now between the two.
Wow.
So that's just how somewhat fresher tires can change the whole dynamic of the pace of different drivers. And we'll see that, I think, between Steban and Kamke as well. So Jav just up ahead, driving Ghosted. So I have to see how it's going to go. In the meantime, Mr. Wouter once again catching Bosnia slowly but surely. A couple of laps of fresher tires as well there. And I think in a matter of a couple of laps, I think he could be overtaking Bosnia quite easily on track as well, given Bosnia has a 3-second time penalty. Don't know if he'll be fighting that much.
Do you know what? Steven has already ditched that 1-second gap to Harry Noir. There's no DRS for that Ferrari driver.
Oh yeah.
So fast. The mediums gaining on those softs once they've just gone off. You've got Swip further down the field. He's on 9 lap odd softs. He will be pitting, well, not this lap, so I can see he's not entering the pits. So I guess next lap would be when we expect to see him come into the pits. But Harry Noir now going to be under threat from Q and his teammate Energetics. This battle should be going on for a little bit because he's not going to want to give it up easy, and there's still enough life in those tyres to put up a fight for a couple more laps.
And in the meantime, Flip and James on somewhat fresher mediums could see this as an opportunity to catch up to this little pack and See a fight erupt for potentially P9 at the moment. We'll have to see how that's gonna go. In the meantime, Mr. Wouters caught up to the back of Bosnia. And this is another thing I don't think I've mentioned yet. We'll see Mr. Wouter go for the move here, and I don't think Bosnia is going to be able to fight that too much. If we look at Mr. Wouter's telemetry, it's shown a yellow fuel light already. And fuel is something you burn through here quite quickly. And that has shown, because yellow means you're around the 0.0 point, and you usually overload a little bit, so it's going to be very difficult to save fuel for the AlphaTauri. He might need a safety car, otherwise he might be running out of fuel towards the end of the race.
Yeah, to get to 0.0 this early on isn't particularly ideal. He's going to force some pretty heavy fuel saving. And there's been such a clean race so far by the drivers, very, very few incidents. Of course, we've seen front wings being replaced, but a lot of that's just been incidents with the driver by himself. Q getting past Harren Noir. Actually, Flip's got himself involved somehow. I don't know if it was a mistake by Energetics or what, but Flip has got past Energetics on those fresher medium tyres. He's going to be one of the faster ones amongst this group, and he's going to be closing in on that second Ferrari, having just got past the other one.
Meantime, RT Crack is losing more and more ground on those older hards, and as Swiros got by him, Ryan B is going to be shortly by as well. Who has made his second stop is Cam K. He's switched to a set of hards for the remainder of the race. Let's see how that's going to pan out for him, but seeing as Crack's pace currently isn't amazing anymore, might be struggling towards the end here. Ryan B on the back of the McLaren here down towards turn 1, but Crack has DRS to defend with, so for the time being it's going to have to come at a different spot.
I think Flip has got enough of a run here on Harren Noir. Williams up the inside of the Ferrari, and two Aston Martins ahead, one of which being blue flagged, the other of which his next target for the overtake for that P8. Couple laps fresher on the tyres. Tyres seem to make a massive difference here compared to some other races I have seen. I guess that is just how Hungary tends to play out. As there we go, Swip finally into the pit lane. 11 laps on those soft tyres. They would have been absolutely screaming underneath his car.
James picking up, 3-second time penalty is going to put him a bit of a disadvantage. Swip now having used all compacts, he switches on to a set of mediums. And have to see if he can salvage maybe a point or two from this race. So far so clean. No safety cars just yet. Seeing Ryan B right on the back of Crack, and still not got past this lap. We're gonna have to see if he can do it now. I think with the DRS and ERS he could quite well do it towards the outside he goes, and I think with the grip he's gonna just throw around. Crack still trying to defend, but yeah, the exit is there for Ryan B. Crack just not getting the traction down whatsoever, and there goes the Red Bull into P5.
Yeah, light bit of contact, of course, seemed an inevitability with a different tyre compound and the tyre life on those cars. And I'm sure we see Ryan B fly off into the distance. Side by side here, Flip and Q. I think Q with the inside line. Is it enough to hold on? Yes, it is. And behind the two Ferraris getting involved, Harren Noir, even though he's on those soft tyres, has been doing a decent job of keeping up with these guys here. Stephen picking up 3 seconds of time penalties. That's the fourth driver with them now. The difference being Jav is 9 seconds compared to the rest, all just having 3 for the moment. Can't flip. Oh no, backs out in the end.
Smart choice, I think.
Yeah, well, excellent way to lose a front wing or to spin another driver and find yourself in the steward's office.
Well, let's see if he can do it. He seems to have the better grip for now, using his ERS, and has more ERS than Q as well. So he's derating with the red flashing light on the back of the car. We can see the Williams probably lining up a move down towards turn 1. I'm curious when these drivers are going to decide to make another pit stop. Well, there is one of them.
There's two of them, actually.
Yep.
Q into the pits, as is Harren Noir.
22 for them. See, that's probably going to be another set of mediums for both of them.
Yeah, interesting choice, the Aston Martin not holding on for a few more laps. Because it's going to be quite a long medium stint, could have made the two a bit more even across the race. But I guess the undercut, powerful, especially when you're in that group. I think they were at least 5 cars battling there, all on slightly different strategies. Giving yourself that undercut, giving yourself the track position could very well play off, assuming there's no safety cars or even just VSCs to follow through. Is James here looking hungry round the outside of Energetics? Can he do it the long way around? I think he can. Towards the chicane, the camera angle's always horrid, but here we go. Contact between the two of them, and James at the end backing off. I think these two saying, you go ahead, no, you go ahead, and in the end Energetics just does let James through from that contact. The two of them both being nice, British and gentlemanly. Don't know if they are both British, actually, I haven't said that. I know James
just
is.
James. Yeah, Energetics is Dutch, so that's a slightly different breed, as we have yellow flags. I think it's Ibo going around, being lapped down. Bosnia and Crack have gone into the pits. I think we could see mediums for both of them as well. California, another driver with 3 seconds now. The Haas in P12 right now. Bosnia trying to get the undercuts, maybe get himself into a better spot for the last stint. Crack, look to exit the pits, and look at Camke, not too far back either on those hards. He's probably going to lose quite a lot of time now compared to the McLaren on fresher and better tyres. Yeah,
and you do wonder, is Crack going to think a bit of team orders here for the championship to help out MCR, or is it just, I've got a good race going for me, I want to pick up a win? Has Crack has not won this season. He's got himself 1 P2. Actually, I don't know where he finished in France, because that's not on the stand-ins, but to the best of my knowledge, has not yet picked up a win, and he is in with a pretty decent shot, although his teammate, such a strong performance so far, that might be a step too far, as MCR is now into the pits, and I suspect he will come out on track in first. Let's see if any of the guys behind him also choose to pit. Mr. Walton, no. Yeah, most of these guys have slightly fresher tyres. They know they can go a little bit longer.
Yeah, I think MCR just pitting early off the softs, obviously. Whereas Mr. Wouter went on very long on the softs, and then the drivers behind that all started on a different compound. So it makes sense for now. MCR just covering himself off, covering other drivers, just to make sure you don't lose track position unnecessarily.
But yeah, look at
now
the gap he's
hitting
got
as well, and that's a set of softs for Energetics. It's a long time. It's gonna have to do on them 12 laps.
Yeah, they're gonna be hurting, aren't they? Is it 12?
I think so.
No, it's 11 laps,
12.
isn't it?
Well, it's the start of 24, lap 24 for him, so if you count that one in, it is 12 laps, including this one. See, comes out just behind Serial Killer. He's gonna have to overtake the AlphaTauri to maybe be able to catch up to Q and the Harnoark in P12 and 13. But that's quite a ways down still, 8.5 seconds. Now Mr. Wouter gone in, and guys in P2, 3 and presumably 4 will stay out for another one, I think, and go into the softs towards the end.
Yeah, but at the moment, I mean, the race is so completely in MCR hands. If there's no safety car, even a VSC isn't going to hurt him too much at this point. He just has such a strong hand. He's done such a good first couple of stints. It is now almost just to bring it home. Don't lose the front wingers. Here we go. Battle going on at Energetics up the inside of Serial Killer, getting that move done up into P14. Also, Crack getting past James into the first hairpin. Missed that one. Crack with the fresher tyres and come out the pits a couple of laps ago. He'll be looking to move up as soon as he can.
Mr. Wouter going with a set of softs is quite interesting. He's the only one I've seen so far that's used 2 sets of soft. I'll say that worked out for him as he gets through on Flip quite easily there. Flip just going a little bit wide there. And now Bosnia just up ahead. A ways to catch MCR, and considering he's still somewhat low on fuel and probably not going to be saving that much or be able to save that much, I don't think there's going to be much of a chance in the race win here for the AlphaTauri, should there not be any safety cars. So the top 2 are in right now, and MCR is still trying to get past T-Ban for the net race lead, or well, for the race lead on track now, because right now tight, that grip is absolutely excellent, and through he goes.
Yeah, well, of course, to be expected given the tyres. You mentioned the possibility of Mr. Welter winning. Well, he's been losing time on track to MCR, I think. At one point the gap was 5 seconds, now up to nearer 7 seconds. Or actually 6.5 now.
Ooh.
And I think that was just traffic, as Sui Ross picking up 3 seconds of time penalty. A lot more drivers now with penalties.
Yeah, it's just gonna affect you a little bit. It's quite easy to pick up warnings here and there. Just going a little bit too wide into a corner like turn 4. Another one to see quite often is turn 11. So it's just on the margins there. They can just about mess up. We'll have to see. I think there's still a chance in for many drives to get a good result here. I think Bosnia looking to probably get a podium here despite his penalties. If he can hold off Crack
Yeah,
from
I think
outside
it is.
this thing, considering Sivan is yet to pit.
So I think the main threat to Bosnia, amusingly, is if Mr. Wouter fights him too hard when he gets through on these softs, then he'll fall within that 3-second range of Crack, and that'll drop him off of the podium. So MTR setting fastest lap.
Yeah, 17.7 is an absolutely rapid time. It's Swift picking up a penalty. Mr. Wouter now down the inside of Bosnia, and not much of a fight put up there actually. Zero Killer also a penalty. So James found something to the pits. So then I think it is just Esteban left to make his second stop. He's going to go into a fresh set of softs, I'd imagine, right towards the end.
There's actually James has just put further down the order, so just that one man left to go. As I think Bosnia doing the right thing, letting Mr. Wouter get through very easily, because it avoids him having to fight too hard, losing that time to Crack. He's got 1.7 seconds to play with at the moment, assuming he avoids getting further penalties.
Yeah, I think that's just going to be the aim, and nonetheless that podium should be on the cards, I think. Yeah, I'm curious how far under Mr. Wouter is at this point in the race, because I can't imagine he's actually saving anything at this point, fuel-wise. He's going to go around in the top 10. There's no one else really struggling with it, at least 0 points, as Mr. Wouter has put up the fastest lap of the race, including some DRS here and there. So, yeah, the softs may be working for now, but for how long is going to be the question. Steve Alonso said first of the
It's
softs.
Ryan B, sorry to interrupt, up the inside of Swee Ross. These two, same compound, same age, but no cutback to be found. The DRS doing its job for Ryan B, getting him up into P5 and allowing him actually to nearly get within that 1 second range of Crack. These two gonna cause some problems, because if they can get through while they're on while the soft tyres are in their prime window, they might be able to just hold that track position, keep Crack from getting past, and get themselves onto that final spot of the podium. Oh, actually,
yeah, I think especially
final spot of the
especially
podium.
Ryan B could do it. If he can get himself within 3 seconds of Bosnia, there's a good chance he actually gets himself on the podium here today. A bit of quite a race driven by the Red Bull, but seemingly quite working. Everyone else making a few mistakes here and there. Maybe on strategy, maybe on penalties. There's a good chance he gets himself, but he needs to keep the tires alive towards the end. That's going to be the important thing for Ryan B.
As here we go, Stephen on his fresh soft tyres, easily past Harry Newart. He'll be trying to work his way up through the order, but of course another driver who's picked up penalties, nearly half the field now.
Ryan B down the inside of Crack, harsh defending. Behind McLaren, trying to cut back now. Is he going to get that one stuck? They're still side by side down towards turn 2. Who's going to get the better of this? It looks like Ryan B has got the better line here down in towards this corner. And parks it nicely. Perfectly executed there by the Red Bull. Crack still using ears to try and get back alongside. But for here,
maybe not that corner.
Kind of useless. Yeah, I think it's the right decision to back off there and see if he can maybe just stick with the Red Bull, maybe get him back towards the last few laps. That might be the aim there for the McLaren, and in the meantime, hopefully gain some time on Bosnia. At least for both of them, it will be beneficial anyway.
Yeah, but of course Ryan B also now has the advantage. Crack will be defending from Sweet Ross. so less risk of him attacking too soon. If he can get another car between, who's going to be slower towards the end, well, that is more to his benefit. But let's just take a moment. We've got, what, 6 laps left. MCR, wonderful race. 7 seconds in the lead, pretty much on the best tyres here. There's a few tyres slightly younger, but he's driven such a good race. Aced it in qualifying, been leading almost the entire way, certainly the net lead, even if not the lead on track. So with 6 laps to go, looking very, very promising for him. And actually, in fact, he's doing a decent job of keeping his championship hopes alive. There's a lot of points required to do it, but he's going about doing it the right way. Camke currently down in P7, potentially under threat from Steven. I'm not quite sure if there will be enough tyre life in these softs for him to nab P7 with
I
that
think there
penalty.
will be, even including the penalty. I think Steven, with those tyres, is going to absolutely blast past the Red Bull and probably put about 5 seconds at least on the Red Bull. Just look at the grip he's gaining for every single corner. I think on the exit chicane he could actually have a go of it if he lines it up nicely.
Ooh,
It gets settled over the curb, so not quite there, but he just catches up right away again, and at this point he's just choosing the moment.
Go on, nah.
Dude, I think that's towards turn 12. At the exit of here, he should...
No, he's backing off.
sides
Interesting.
away. I think he's waiting too long at this point to try and actually get through. Flip Namsram does get through that corner on Harnoak into P10. But yeah, this just costs him Steven time, even though he might get the DRS here. I think overall it's not the smartest choice there. But in the meantime, he still has 5 laps to go. I think there's a good chance that Steven is going to be able to clear this 3 seconds, as he is much lighter on the brakes at that time around. It's no issue whatsoever.
Yeah,
It's
weird
just
bit of
about
race
pushing.
crash there by him. Because it felt like he had so many opportunities that he just decided to not go for and just hug the back of the car, not go for the pass just yet. But he's got 5 laps to build on that gap, try and get it to over 3 seconds.
Flip towards turn 4. This is a manic move, and I think it's a bit too much.
Q round.
Yeah, Q round into the wall. Ibo, an unrelated note in the wall there. Yeah, Q is going to drop back a few positions in a good few seconds. I think I couldn't quite see how much pace it gives him. It's always not great there. But yeah, it's always a very difficult corner to actually go side by side, and I think Flip just kind of say back out or you go off, and that's roughly what happened, I think. So Flip is now into P9. Got Camke to actually catch as well. You could still do that. It's 3.8, about 4 laps remaining. I think that's possible.
Already Camke to Steven 2.5 seconds. He's gained 2 seconds in 1 lap. So yeah, you were completely right in saying that it'll fly away. Get that P7, knocking Camke down to that P8. We will do the maths and what that means for the championship at the end. But for now, let's keep on board with the battles. Crack closing in on Sui Ross. Now these softs are starting to age a little bit more. He wants to try and get past Sui Ross, and if he can get back past Ryan B for that P4, and actually Ryan B nearly within those 3 seconds of Bosnia, as Harry Noir down in P10 picking up 3 seconds. I think his first lot. Yes, indeed it is. That's no one more than just 3 seconds apart from Jav, and then Serial's got 5 seconds somewhere. Presumably. Oh, hello.
Oh, there's another one.
Felt left out.
Yeah. But yeah, Ryan Bass has been chipping away that gap towards Bosnia. Is it going to be enough is going to be the question. It's about a couple tenths per lap he gains. Not going to be the easiest thing. And IT Crack now seems to advantage again on this soft runners, because he's down the inside of Swayros. At this point, I think he's
trying
got that
to hold
one
it the long way around, but cut off and Crack. There we go.
Yeah, good move there for the McLaren. And can he close up the gap back to Ryan B? Potentially a soft fall off. There's still a chance. Obviously the minis aren't the freshest either. So it's just going to be about who can manage that the best. As I said, Flit Namstram 1.7 now behind Camke, with just under 3 laps to go. I think Flip's got a good chance of that P8. In which case, Kamke is going to drop over 20 points to MCR. That could be quite vital. Obviously, MCR, if I'm not mistaken, just checking. Yeah, he does have that pole position point as well. So it's you know what? It is probably the worst rate I've seen from Kamke this season so far, and that does say something because he's still kind of up there.
Well,
with
Singapore.
the top guys. Yeah, including obviously the incident with Steven earlier on. So
is that the other Haas, or is that no? That is Ibo bringing out the yellow.
Yeah.
Sorry, the other Alfa Romeo, wrong car.
Yeah, no, that was Ibo this time out once again. In the meantime, Mr. Burrow has been driving on hards for 21 laps. They'll be feeling pretty dead, I'd imagine. So that's not ideal.
Well, you mean he's right on the back of Swip.
Yeah, it's true. If Switch Ties and himself aren't that young either. So both of them struggling. Both of them struggling. Well, Mr. Burrow struggling on fuel. Switch struggling on fuel. Cyril struggling on fuel. More and more Harry work now in the yellow as well.
I can't remember if it's Bosnia or Mr. Wouter that was struggling before. No longer yellow
Mr.
on fuel.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, okay.
Whatever
That's
magic
impressive.
he's worked, he's certainly a good magician. And all Q out of the race. That is exit of first corner. We'll see his teammate will hop on board and see that. That's just, getting on the curb, getting on the power and losing your tyre into that wall. Some of the other drivers will be very thankful that happened once the safety car can no longer come out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, impressive from Mr. Wouter that he's managed to actually get himself seemingly green again on the fuel. Oh, no, I don't think so. It's gone red now, but I think that's because it's the last lap of the race. And whenever you're under a lap, it could be. So maybe down towards the line we could see one or two drivers running out and losing a little bit of time.
I think we might be about to see Flip get past Kamke. He's got 3.5 tenths, he's got DRS, he's got quite a lot of battery left. Oh no, it won't be this straight. Is he going to go for the move down the next short DRS straight? The tyre advantage might not be there anymore. He's certainly closed it up. This is the last lap, the last attempt that he has. And he's running out of overtaking opportunities.
Yeah, he's going to have to try and do it somewhere else. We've seen him make a move to turn 12 before in the last sector. So that might be the one he's thinking of right now. If he can stay close enough to the American. Bosnia has now given away his podium. And that is 6 seconds of penalties now. That's done for the Williams. He's going to drop back at least to P5 behind Brian and Crack. Have to see, but Crack's teammate MCR is going to come home to win the Hungarian Grand Prix here today. Dominant display by the McLaren. Dominant display by the Spaniard, and he's absolutely nailed that. Mr. Wouter just exiting the final corner.
And he holds on track. Bosnia finishing P3 on track, but of course going to lose out to Ryan B. Sweet Ross with 3 seconds. Doesn't get it, but Crack all the way up to P4 because of all that.
Very close there actually, 44 thousandths there with Bosnia. Sweros in P6 and Steven P7. We're seeing more yellow flags as Kamke just holds on for P8 ahead of Flip. Harnenwerk is the one that does run out.
Ooh, he's let James through.
A spot. Yeah, no, he's run out of fuel.
He's out of fuel, yeah.
That's not quite by choice, loses the position due to it. Energetic's going to come home for P12 then, with California for P13, and it's a bit to wait for. Serial Killer, Mr. Burrow, Swip, and some other back markers. If we see...
Oh, hello, Jav doing a few donuts there, I believe deliberately. Yes, it is indeed deliberate. Put in on a show. I guess he knows he's locked in, he's lapped down, no one else behind him can finish the race. I don't know if that was a deliberate slide there. So yeah, Serial Killer P14. Actually, is he going to lose that one to Muster? Was Muster near enough? No, I don't think he was.
That was only 5 seconds. Yeah, Muster is also driving quite slowly here. He knows he's got P15 in the back, as Sweros has left the session, so that is why he's been on the timing sheets demoted to P15. He was obviously in P6, so that's the points he will be awarded. And I was just waiting for Jav to finish his donuts up, and there he goes.
Yeah, There we go. What a race. I like that one. Lots and lots of strategy involved. A complete masterclass put on there by MCR. Plenty of unpredictability, and all without any rain or safety cars to bring the field back in together. Just good, pure, clean racing. Bits of contact here and there, but all in all, I think a mighty fine race put on by Division 3.
Yeah, it was actually very enjoyable to watch. It's enough action that you wouldn't get bored, but not that much that it's you can not follow it anymore in essence, and it just becomes a mess. So that's kind of what I want to see, and it's good to see that here. And obviously, MCR for the win. There wasn't too much of a fight, but he's absolutely deserved that win, and is going to take home 31 points, given his pole position points. Well, the fastest lap point going to go to Steban, who is going to end up in P7, obviously due to Swayros leaving early.
Someone in the chat there, so stupid pen on the last lap. I assume that's Bosnia talking, but let's do a quick run through of the order again. So MCR from pole position with complete dominance, nearly an 8-second lead, winning here at Hungary. Mr. Walter alongside and taking the second step from third. Then Ryan B finishing off the podium. The second McLaren down in P4, so very strong from the McLarens. Bosnia P5, Steven P6, Kamke P7. Well, there's the championship leader. So decent race from him, but not too massive. Flip P8, James Head P9, Harry Noir the last in the top 10. Then Energetics, California, Serial Killer, Mustard, Sweeros finishing out the points for 15. Swip P16, Jav, the Donut Man P17, Q P18 with his late crash, and then Ibo is P19. And that concludes a very interesting Hungary.
Turos is going to end up P6 in that regard. So it's going to be P8 for Kamke professionally anyway, which means MCR has gained, if I'm doing the math properly, that is 21 points on the American. So he's now 36 behind. With 2 races to go, it's not completely impossible.
Yeah.
But he's going to have basically 2 more races like this, and hope that Kamke has 2 more races like this as well. So it's still Kamke's hands, I'd say. But MCR's brought himself another fighting chance and another life into the championship, going into Qatar and Kota.
Yeah, certainly, given that Kamke could have left today winning the championship, MCR has done exactly what it needed to do. Nearly maximising points, 31 out of the 32 possible. Steven stealing the fastest lap there that I know actually that MCR had at one point. But the championship is still very much on. And while it's a big gap, it is not an impossible gap. All it takes is one Kamke DNF or another kind of couple of bad races. If they have 2 more races like this, it does fall the way of MCR. So looking forward to seeing how that goes. We got Qatar and which American tracks last? I just see a flag.
It's Kota.
Ah, right, Kota to finish us off. Okay, well, always a good track to watch. But yeah, I don't know if you've anything else to say.
Not quite. I'm just looking forward to hopefully get a little bit of a title fight going in these last couple races. No bias whatsoever there. But yeah, with hope to see it go to the final round.
Yeah, actually, I'm glad that this season finishes when it does, because the last race of the season is, I think, 3 days before my first exam, so I will still be doing commentary, but at least it's not in the middle of the exam season and just before the first one. And yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed watching. Certainly the drivers put on a good race. I successfully woke up 10 minutes before stream started, so it took a little while for my brain to get going at the start, but I hope you've all enjoyed, and we will see you next week for the Qatar race.